Acer's latest laptops have been elevated with a tasty bit of Nvidia 40 series graphics, making them ideal for power users. Everyone from gamers and content creators to homeworkers and students, who apparently these days actually spend their time studying rather than playing strip Guess Who in the college bar. How peculiar. But anyway, let's check out two of the best Acer laptops in 2024, the Swift X14 and the Predator Helios Neo 16. And a big old merry thanks to Acer and Nvidia for sponsoring. Cheers! So let's begin with Acer's Swift X14, a pleasingly portable yet powerful Wii notebook. The design here is pretty simple and straightforward. You've got a brushed metal chassis, seems to be reasonably resistant to grubby fingerprints and other greasy marks. And considering the tech that's stuffed inside of this thing, I'm surprised it's not an absolute chunkster. It's reasonably skinny and certainly nice and light. And Acer has managed to cram tons of ports onto the Swift X14, most of them bunched up over on the left edge. You've got dual USB Type-C ports with full Thunderbolt support. You've got an HDMI 2.1 port. You've also got a full-sized USB-A. And then over on the right edge, it's not quite as full on. You've got another USB-A port there and also a micro SD memory card slot. And no, there's no Ethernet action here, sadly, but the Wi-Fi 6E support works an absolute charm when you're uploading ridiculously chunky 4K video files. As for those visuals, well, they're handled by Nvidia's GeForce RTX 40 series laptop GPUs, maxing out at the RTX 4050. And also stuffed inside of my sample is Intel's 13th generation Core i7-13700H chipset, backed by 16 gigs of RAM. But you can upgrade that to 32 gigs if you're really going for it. Now, Nvidia's Max-Q tech helps to wring out the best possible performance from something just like the Acer Swift X14 with a highly portable design, using clever pants AI-type shenanigans to optimize the power settings, reduce battery drain, and generally improve the performance. Photo editing is handled deftly, whether you use Lightroom, Photoshop, or good old GIMP. And you can also smash out slick looking YouTube or TikTok creations in your video editor of choice, with super nippy GPU accelerated renders, complete with AV1 support. And if you're into 3D modeling using apps like Blender, this GPU supports invaluable tools like AI denoising. And it can even use those ray tracing cores to render your image in less time than it takes to drink a delicious whiskey. That's pretty fast! And no worries if you're a workaholic or you just want an excuse to hide away in your study and not see your family. The Acer Swift X14 boasts a good-sized fan. You've got dual copper heat piping and all kinds of other clever cooling shenanigans to keep everything running as smoothly as you need for as long as you need. Now, the Acer Swift X14 also boasts a firm backlit chiclet keyboard with well-spaced keys and a fingerprint sensor for a Swift login. Swift. And another highlight here on the Acer Swift X14 is that 14.5-inch 2.8K OLED screen, which practically fills the entire inside of the lid. Those visuals are absolutely pin sharp and boast natural contrast as well as colours, making this laptop ideal for editing photos, working on video projects, or just relaxing and slapping on a movie or two. You don't have an anti-reflective surface on that display, but the brightness does max out at 500 nits, so you can happily use the Swift X14 outdoors if needed, while the refresh rate maxes out at a supremely smooth 120 Hz. As for those stereo speakers, well, they're loud enough so even in a busy kitchen you can clearly hear your favourite follically challenged tech YouTuber. I mean, I'm assuming for most people that's actually jerry-rig everything, but hey, whatever, maybe I'm a close-ish second. Distant second, I would also take. And up here above the Swift X14's almighty display, you've also got yourself a full HD webcam, and that is supported by various AI-led tools, including some automatic framing. That's pretty good if you can't keep still. And if you want to chat online with your mates, your colleagues, whatever, highly recommend Nvidia Broadcast, which again packs in all those AI smarts, including noise cancellation. Can help focus solely on you if there's lots of background noise. You've also got the likes of background blur, get rid of whatever clutter is behind you. So next up, let's have a squint at Acer's Predator Helios Neo 16. And I mean, no two ways about it, this is quite obviously a gaming laptop. If you whip this thing out in your annual appraisal, you will certainly raise a few eyebrows. You've got one colour option here, Abyssal Black. Suitably cheery. And this absolute unit is the 16-inch version, but the Predator Helios Neo is also available in an 18-inch flavour. And Nvidia's GeForce RTX 4070 laptop GPU is your best option here. So you can blaze through absolutely any PC game you fancy, or get absolutely schooled by them if you suck at games like me. Oops, keep forgetting they drive on the other side of the road here. As for the chipset, well, on my sample it's Intel's Core i7-14700HX backed by 32 gigs of RAM. Although if you want to, you can upgrade to a Core i9-14900 for a bit more cash. Now, just one of the many benefits of that GeForce RTX GPU is the DLSS 3.5 support. This can upscale those visuals on supported titles to make them even more fluid using artificial intelligence. Good bit of AI, you may have heard of it. So even demanding titles like Alan Wake 2 and Cyberpunk 2077 can play at up to 1440p resolution at 120 frames per second or beyond, with full ray tracing support if you want the most trouser moistening visuals possible. And as with all of Acer's Predator gaming laptops, you do of course have the Predator Sense app, which is available via a quick poke of this handy shortcut button. You've got a great selection of tools on here, including of course a variety of performance modes depending on what you're up to. Skills all the way up to a turbo mode when things get proper serious. And naturally you can closely monitor all of the Predator's resources, you can tinker with the coolant system, the full works. And it doesn't matter what kind of games you're into, they all play perfectly on the higher graphic settings thanks to Nvidia's tech. Even if you opt for the more affordable Nvidia GeForce RTX 4050 laptop GPU, you'll still be able to blaze through the latest AAA titles at 1080p at a fluid 60 frames per second, while maxing out those visuals. With all the same benefits of the RTX GPU range, including that tasty Max-Q tech, to improve the power efficiency and give the performance a proper kick up the rectal region. And you can keep on gaming for basically as long as you like, because Acer has packed its 5th generation Aeroblade coolant fans in here, which naturally you have complete control over. And yeah, naturally, as you might expect, when you max them out they do get a little bit noisy. But if it means you can play Cyberpunk for 5-6 hours instead of, actually doing a day's work, then... And you don't just have the fans here as well, you've also got liquid metal cooling, you've got vector heat pipes, the works. And helped along by that Nvidia GeForce RTX tech, you've got a glorious 16-inch IPS display here, spaffing out crisp and clean 2560 by 1600 pixel resolution visuals. So your games will look absolutely stunning, or suitably grotty and grooey if you're playing something like Resident Evil. That refresh rate maxes out at 240Hz, so gamers should be plenty sated. And the stereo speakers are absolute beefcakes as well, with full DTS:X Ultra support. And hey, if you want to hook up external displays, peripherals, whatever, you got plenty of ports packed on here. On the edges alone, you've got a triple set of USB-A ports, you've got an Ethernet port on here as well, and a micro SD memory card slot. And then around back you've got an HDMI 2.1 connection and dual Thunderbolts. And naturally all of the other mod cons you'd expect from a gaming laptop, including a quad zone RGB keyboard, which naturally is fully customizable via that Predator Sense app. And there you have it, my lovelies. That in a tasty wee nutshell is the fresh new Acer Swift X 14 and Acer Predator Helios Neo 16. And between the pair of them, they should suit pretty much any power user out there. Now definitely check out the links and everything in the video description below for more information and to bag your very own Nvidia GeForce RTX 40 series powered laptop. A massive thanks again to Acer and Nvidia for sponsoring this video and keeping the lights on at Techspert Towers. Please do bug subscribe, ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a ruddy wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you.